me just set the thing up and then.
My entitled sister is claiming that she understands the loss of my husband because she herself lost her dog, and now she thinks she understands me fully by understanding the loss of my husband. But after telling her off and saying no, these are not comparable, she freaks out and is now refusing to talk to me. And I'm now not sure if I'm the jerk for the situation, and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. To make a long story short, I lost my husband only a month ago. It's hard. I'm still grieving, and I miss him every single day. I have to take medication for depression and anxiety to help me get through the day. Last week, my sister's dog was put down due to some health issues, and she was very upset, which is understandable. She called me as soon as it happened and said I was the only sibling who would understand her pain. I didn't mind, honestly. I just wanted to comfort her since her dog meant the world to her. She held a wake for him, and our whole family attended. It really was a nice service. But now she is actually comparing our losses, telling me she knows exactly what I'm going through, that she can relate to the pain of losing someone so close to you. She calls me asking if we should visit graves together. It was fine the first time, but it's constant now. She goes 3 times a day. It's already difficult to go once a week for me, and she knows this. I feel like she's not even considering my own grieving process. Anyways, I told her that grieving her dog is not the same as me grieving my husband. Now she's upset and is refusing to talk to me. I get it, it was uncalled for really, but my loss is new to me too. And I guess I just got frustrated with how different we're dealing with our losses. I don't know, I feel like she should be able to understand where I'm coming from as well. A dog is not the same as a husband. A dog can't love you back like a husband can. A dog can't read to your children like a husband can. A dog cannot make soup when you're ill like a husband can. It's really hard for me right now to discern when I'm being condescending or not. I don't know if it's a side effect of my medication or if the empathetic part of my brain has just shut down, but I am really getting tired of her comparing our pain when she lost a dog and I lost my world. At the very least, she still has her husband to lean on. I have 2 young children at home, and I'm processing a loss unimaginable to most kids their age. And she's trying to whisk me away to graveyards to visit her dog. So honestly, am I the jerk for telling my sister off? What should I do? You are not the jerk. Your sister is crazy. How can she actually compare the two? Like, this is not even in the same wheelhouse of things that you could grieve about. One is a living, breathing person that is no longer with us, and the other is a dog, a literal animal. Like, those are not even comparable. And the original poster has it right. It's already hard enough to grieve the loss of her husband, but now she has her stupid sister coming in and being like, I understand your pain. Like, no you don't, idiot. You still have your husband. The original poster lost their husband. They don't have them anymore. And the original poster's sister can always get another dog, and that would probably fill whatever hole in her heart she's experiencing. And also, this is really selfish of the sister to step in and try and be like, oh, I understand your grief because my dog died. We're on the same level of grief understanding. Like, no, that's not how this works in the slightest. You are seriously crazy if you think that, and there's no way that kind of attitude or behavior should be tolerated. So if your sister doesn't want to talk to you anymore over this situation, just remind her that your situations are not comparable. And the fact that she would try to say that they are is honestly mind-blowing and unbelievably inappropriate. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. Am I the jerk for being excited to tell my ex-girlfriend, who cheated on me by the way, that she won't be getting a dream job at my company? Here's what happened. So my ex-girlfriend and I split up about 18 months ago after being together for 5 years. My ex started university later than everyone else and graduated last year. I found out she was cheating on me when my friend had spotted the 2 of them kissing, as well as flirting and getting handsy in the bar. I confronted her about her cheating, and she tried to spin the whole thing around on me. The breakup was messy and it stung a lot. I currently work as a recruiter for a fairly decent-sized IT company in the city. My ex studied project management at university and has applied for an entry-level project management assistant role at the company I work for. Despite what happened, I was still fair to her in the first stage interview process. I didn't tamper with any of her answers, and she impressed the hiring staff. The interview process for the job job was a 3-stage process. First stage with me, and the other 2 with hiring managers and other people she'll be working with. I overheard through a mutual friend that she seemed to be really excited about this job. Today, I received the news from the hiring managers that they'll be going with another candidate for the role, and that it's my duty tomorrow morning to contact her and tell her that she was unsuccessful in getting a job that she's dreamt about. So it honestly begs the question, am I the jerk for being excited to tell my ex-girlfriend who cheated on me that she won't be getting her dream job tomorrow? First off, I want to say that yeah, I don't think there's a problem with feeling excited about that, but there is no way I would allow myself to be that person who tells her if I was in your shoes. Think about it for a second. You had a really messy breakup with this woman. You caught her in the act of cheating on
I'm
you,
blind.
you confronted her about it, and it was really not a good time when you had to get her. And while I totally understand that you want to try and get some kind of revenge on her, I also think it would not be in your best interest to be the one to do it. Like, your ex-girlfriend clearly sounds unhinged, and you can bet she would try to claim some kind of discrimination against you if you just so happen to be the one to tell her that she didn't get the job. She might try to claim, oh, my ex-boyfriend works there and he's the reason I didn't get a job, or some other garbage like that. Like, based on what you described, I don't think it would be beyond her to try and do that. I mean, when you caught her cheating, and when you confronted her about the entire thing, she tried to spin it around and blame it on you. You really think she wouldn't try to do that again on you in this situation? And to top it all off, this is a job that she really wants to be a part of. She's expressed interest in it, she went through the entire interview process, and she has said, yes, I'm very excited about working here. So in my opinion, being the one to tell her would be a horrible idea. It could cost you a lot of trouble, and honestly, it might even cost you your job. My dad refuses to get a job, despite all the attempts I've made to try and help him get a job. And at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. My father has been a fairly successful man in the past, and due to circumstances such as divorce and other financially related issues from 15 years ago, he has had to find other employment. I am conscious of this fact, and always try to be empathetic as possible when talking to him about this. Recently, things have gotten much worse, with him only being able to find contacts that last a few months, and then is unemployed for the rest of the year. Despite this, I've been trying to help him and suggest any kind of avenues of restoring his business, his credit, working out payment plans for debt, and all this other stuff. He always says they're good ideas, but never follows through. 2 weeks ago, we got into a discussion about me taking on his regular house duties like cooking and taking over more cleaning duties, just so he can apply for more jobs. And he was doing great for the first 2 or 3 days, but after that he slowed down, and is now barely applying for jobs from what I can see, and spending all his time either outside or on social media scrolling. As well as this, he is more concerned with the state of the lawn than he is with finding employment. Things financially are not in the best spot, and more than likely he will be struggling to pay bills and afford basic things in a month or so. In light of this, I've been checking on him every few days, and most recently asked why he is not sitting down at his computer or sending out resumes left and right. He tells me that he is outside chatting with people, and then when he shows me his LinkedIn, his last message is from a week before. I feel as though he could easily find something within the next few weeks if he just applied himself 100% and spent at least a few hours a day customizing resumes and connecting with people. In our last conversation, he said it is emotionally draining for him when I talk to him about these things, and says that I am being a detriment more than I am being of help. My thought process is that I am trying to get him to realize that the way he is going about it will more than likely land him in the same spot as before. My problem is my father is the type of person that will say one thing and then never follow through, and has made many promises to my sister about helping her with tuition and a car and many other things, which is the reason I've been pushing on these points so much the past few weeks. This has more or less been a pattern of behavior for the past 2 years, and as much as I feel bad for him at times, it feels like a lot of issues stem from avoidance of the problem, and a lot of the time he puts his circumstances on other outside factors rather than focusing on what he can do. Obviously, I understand that these things that have happened in his life are discouraging and something he has to carry with him every day, but I feel as though for his family and himself, he should be working hard despite these things to try not to fall deeper into poverty. In contrast, my mother works extremely hard and barely can make ends meet, whereas my father is able to make good money quickly, but does not have stable employment, which I believe is due to him not applying himself 100% or just being lazy. The last thing he said was the way I can help is by doing more and picking up more things things that he does
Sorry,
around the
okay.
house, and I asked him, if I do this, will you sit down for a couple of hours a day and apply for something? And he said that help should be based on stipulations, which I do agree with a certain extent, but I feel that if I keep doing what I'm doing, it will have no effect on his motivation to find a job. My father never takes accountability for his actions, and it always seems like there's an excuse. So honestly, I'm not sure what to do. Do I give up on trying to help him follow through? I'm honestly not sure, because I've tried so much, and at this point, it's starting to affect me and my motivation. He is not receptive at all to what I'm saying, and instead he's just completely dismissing it and turning it back on me. I'm starting to feel like I need to leave because things will not change, and at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. Honestly, it kind of sounds like your dad's depressed.
Am I?
Like he's not applying himself for anything. He's taking all this time to just sit around and do nothing, and it doesn't sound like he's
Let me out!
to do anything that he would probably want to do. And there's also the other side of it that, you know what, unfortunately you can't make him do this. You can't pressure him, and you really shouldn't be enabling him. In my opinion, if I was in your shoes, I would not only stop telling him to try and get up and get going, but I would also stop helping him. Your dad is treating you like the nagging parent when it comes to job applications, and that's not fair in the slightest. He is an adult, grown man. This is someone who should have his life together and knows how to get his life back together if he really wanted to. And unfortunately, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. And if your dad doesn't want to get up and find a job, then that's on him, not you. My wife has soft cheated on me with her best friend, and I feel like my marriage is in shambles, and I seriously don't know what to do. So I've been married to my wife by the name of Jane for 6 years. Jane is not her real name. We have a 3-year-old son, and we were both raised in Orthodox religion, which is why getting married so young was normal for us. We have both had similar shifts to more progressive and less religious worldviews. Looking back now, we acknowledge our lives were unfortunately heavily shaped by our shared religion. But here we are anyways. A few years ago, my wife and I became good friends with some neighbors who went to church with us at the time. Very quickly, Jane became very close with Rose, who was the female neighbor. Eventually, they started becoming very touchy. They would hold hands, doing occasional sleepovers when me and Rose's husband were out of town, etc. I didn't like the romantic conversations that they seemed like they were having either. I also noticed that the friendship was becoming such a big priority that it was affecting our decisions about vacations and stuff like that. One weekend, I went on an out-of-state business trip. Rose slept in my house while I was gone, and when I got back, Jane immediately talked to me, crying and admitting that she and Rose had slept in the same bed and that things progressed from there, if you know what I mean. Not quite all the way, but just enough for this to be incredibly inappropriate. She said that they just didn't realize how far they were taking it until they had moved way past friendship touching. At this point in our lives, we were still very religious, so they both felt very guilty. I was really disappointed and I felt betrayed, but more so by how their relationship had slowly become romantic, despite me talking with Jane repeatedly about it. She promised to be better, but clearly that didn't happen. Over the years, we have stayed really good friends with Rose and her husband, which I now really regret and feel really dumb about. There have been times that I have noticed them sending highly romantic text messages or getting a little bit too cuddly. It really bothers me. When I bring it up, my wife is truly sorry about it and does a lot better for a while. She struggles with depression, so I felt like having Rose as a highly supportive friend is a net positive for her. Anyways, this last weekend, my wife accidentally left her phone next to me in my home office while she was out running an errand. She got a text message from Rose that I really didn't feel comfortable with, and then I proceeded to read many of their text messages. I saw a lot of text messages, literally 100 per day, about giving kisses, cuddling in bed together, about how they were each other's best parts of their lives, hinting that they wish they were in an even closer relationship, and all these other things. I was really hurt seeing this. I feel really stupid that I let this happen, and that I have been willfully ignorant for so long. Over the years, I've waffled between being upset about the situation and wondering if I'm overreacting. I confronted my wife about it, and she is so sad about what she's done. She said they don't kiss on the mouth or anything like that, and that everything they say to each other is with the assumption that their husbands are actually the main priority. Now, I know the internet might jump to conclusions, but I really believe that they aren't kissing on the mouth or spending quality time together, if you know what I mean. My wife has always been very forthright and honest when I confront her about these things. After some questions, my wife admitted that she's not sure if she's bisexual or a lesbian, but she said that she is attracted to me. For now, she has stopped texting Rose. I told Rose's husband what happened, and I think he talked to Rose about it, but I haven't talked to him a lot since then. He is as aware as I am to their past, and did have a very similar reaction to what I had. I am not sure if we will be friends anymore, or what that will look like. I'm sad if I can't be friends with him anymore, but I'm so done with my wife and Rose. I'm working on scheduling couples therapy for us. To be honest, I'm not sure what to do about this. I'm totally exhausted by the situation, and overall, I just feel cheated. Whenever my wife expresses love to me, I can't help but think that it's a lie. I have loved being married to her, and I want us to be great parents, preferably together. How can I make this finally stop? Do I need to cut all ties with Rose and her husband? I don't want to leave my wife, and I'm honestly not sure if I can even salvage this marriage. What should I do? First off, you need to understand that your wife absolutely cheated on you. Like she was straight up in bed with another woman, and they were kissing, making out, and doing a whole lot of other things. Like seriously, you're really delusional if you think this is not cheating. And also, in my opinion, there's no gray area here. She literally went out of her way to continue messaging this Rose lady, all under the guise of, oh, we're just being really friendly with each other. No, you're talking about possibly dating. You're insinuating a lot of things that you want to do with each other, and that's not okay. You're literally married, so I think you need to take that into consideration. And hopefully couples therapy goes well for you, because your wife has absolutely betrayed your trust, and you really need to remember that moving forward. My coworker is making me uncomfortable with his manic behavior, and at this point, I seriously don't know what to do. So I really need some perspective on an uncomfortable work situation. I've worked with my coworker for about 7 years in an office with 30 other people. This coworker, who I'm going to call Jacob, has been unprofessional and makes everyone uncomfortable. Jacob is not his real name. Now, I'm trying to keep this vague, but he hates our boss, and he applied for her job before our boss was promoted, and he didn't get it. He wasn't qualified and is unprofessional. He has bullied people in the past and sent a really disturbing letter to another coworker. HR said they can't prove that Jacob sent it, but it was in his very distinct handwriting and happened shortly after an incident where he tried to intimidate this person. Jacob is in the union and uses that to his full advantage. He knows every trick and loophole to get out of work and go on long stretches of stress relief. He tries to say our boss is bothering him for telling him to do his job and not be insubordinate. He would leave work without telling our boss, and when he got in trouble, he tried to get me involved and vouch for him that he was in fact in the office that day. He did this by texting me in the middle of the night multiple times. I told him I wasn't sure which was the truth, but I also was not sticking my neck out for this person. He also put a hurtful meme in our break room that targeted certain people's religious beliefs. But again, this was done in secret, so we couldn't prove it was him, but we all knew it was him. Equipment has gone missing from our office that only he had access to, but again, it could not be proven that he stole it. Our industry is small, and I know someone who previously worked with him, and he was let go for another office because the equipment was stolen. There's more to this story, but it's just some of the things he does, doing sneaky things that can't be proven, but we know he's behind it. I fully believe he's a sociopath. He's accused others of trying to secretly record him, and I'm actually afraid he has a recording app open on his computer when he's not here, just so he can listen to us, and I'm not a paranoid person. Jacob has recently been back to the office after an extended sick leave. I sit next to him, which makes me uncomfortable, but here's the problem. Jacob has not been doing anything that would count as harassment, but his behavior makes me nervous and uncomfortable. I don't know how to describe it besides manic. It's like he's on something. He usually comes to work and doesn't talk to anyone. He sits at his computer all day and leaves at the end of the day. But every so often he comes in and acts like he did a bunch of substances. In fact, this happened yesterday. He was talking to me non-stop, and when I said I had my headphones in, he just kept talking. He was trying to show me stuff on his phone at full volume, blaring in my face. He went around to everyone's office and was just laughing at nothing, acting super friendly like everyone's his best friend. He was openly trying to engage coworkers about private matters in front of me, to the point where they said they just didn't feel comfortable having the conversation in public. I actually had to leave my desk a few times because I couldn't keep interacting with him because I was just getting nervous over his behavior. I'm being encouraged by a few of my coworkers to write a formal letter to our boss saying that his behavior is very concerning. One But my other coworkers already did it. They said that if he makes you uncomfortable, that's all that's important. He's not technically harassing me, but it's the sudden change in demeanor that has me on edge. The loudness, the insistent talking, it's not just a manic behavior.
Deploying shock rounds.
Hopefully, if anything, we can at least move where you work, so you can try and have a different place to work.
What now?
And avoid him, because this guy's acting.
What?
I don't blame you for feeling uncomfortable.
Oh my god, give me a minute.
When you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell to turn on notifications, so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, use the playlist at the top of the description. And if you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out in the description below and subscribe.
Chapter 32. A small cry escaped from deep within Elias's chest, and he didn't know if it was audible or something he just felt inside. Imagine. Brenda stood next to him, silent, transfixed and angry, her eyes still fixed on the hideous stranger. The man took a lumbering step toward them, having to wave his one good arm to keep his balance on the one good leg. Rose took my nose, I
Queen
suppose.
Bee and the last of her mind-controlled troops still remain in her chambers. Find her. We must ensure this exobyte mining operation is shut down for good.
Get it? The man said, his snarl trying to morph into a grin. He looked like an animal about to pounce on its prey. It really blows. My nose, taken by Rose, I suppose. He laughed then, a wet chortle that made Thomas worry he might never sleep in peace again. Yeah, I get it, Brenda said. That's some funny stuff. Thomas sensed movement and looked over at her. She had pulled her hand from her bag and now gripped it in her right hand. Before the tried to stop her, she pulled her arm back and tossed the can into the crate. Thomas watched her flash.
What the fuck?
He let out
What the fuck is happening? This is what? I gotta figure out. Wrong one.
My entitled sister is claiming that she understands me grieving the loss of my husband because she herself lost her dog. Karen spanks me because she thinks I spanked her son. She couldn't lose her kids for that, so she paid me $500 instead. Here's what happened. Subscribe to Am I the Jerk on YouTube and hit the bell for notifications. First, some backstory on the situation. Half of my family is Italian and half of my family isn't. On the Italian side, which the entitled mother is from, spanking is pretty standard. But on the other one, we will take you out, so no one does it anymore. I was about 16 at the time and living with my grandparents. They were having a little get-together, but the guests were all told to stay out of my room because I wasn't feeling well at all. Plus, the cat was in there, and with people going in and out of the house, we didn't want him to escape. There was even a sign on my door that read, "Please do not disturb cat inside." Since I was sick, my body wasn't holding its temperature right, so I was in a sports bra and shorts, but my robe was right next to me. I was just laying back on my bed, trying to get a little bit of homework done before I passed out again. I told my grandmother to bring some food in when it was ready, and that was that. I heard a little knock on the door. It was super light, and I thought maybe it was my grandmother bringing me something to eat, not wanting to wake me up. I throw the robe on and go, "Yeah, come in." Next thing I knew, it's a little gremlin coming in, chocolate all over his face and hands. Of course, he walked right in and started touching the stuff, not closing the door. Luckily, I had grabbed the cat because Grandma's a slow walker. Wow, cool room, entitled kid said, and tried to pick up one of my notebooks, one that was really special to me. I took it off the table before he could get fudge on it. I'm sorry, bud, but you gotta go back to your mom. You're not supposed to be in here. I'm sick. The kid ignored me, still touching stuff. I'm bored, though, and you have cool stuff. I got my shots last night. I shake my head and point to the door. It's rude to go into someone's room when they say no. Please go out there and play with the other kids. I'm sick, I said, firmly this time. And he whines, but leaves. I shake my head, and this time go back to my desk, where all my really fragile art supplies are. I clear the spots for me to eat in a couple of minutes. I start getting really hot, so I take off the robe. Next thing I know, my door flies open, and I barely manage to grab my cat. The entitled mother stood there, red-faced and fuming. I started saying you spanked him. I didn't even touch him. Once. It should also be known that this entitled mother is known in the family for having a habit of swatting kids if they step out of line. Something my mom had corrected with Brett more than once while I was growing up. It usually ended in her calling me spoiled. She then stopped and looked at me, gasping and covering her eyes as if she'd never seen another woman not fully clothed before. Young lady, that is so indecent. There are children in this house. Put on clothes. I stare at her, dumbfounded, and shake my head. Look, entitled mother, I never hit your kid. I would never do that. And I'm sick. He shouldn't be coming in here, and neither should you. What followed was her going on for about 5 minutes or so about how I was the one in the wrong and blah, blah, blah. At this point, my stomach is starting to churn a little bit from the stress. I have stress disorder, and being sick, I know I'm not going to keep it down for long. I tell her she has to leave now. I'm sick. The cat is scratching the hell out of me at this point, being as I was indecent and trying to keep him from escaping. And she had no right to be in there in the first place. She grabbed me and, as if I was 6, started trying to spank me, even managing to get my shorts down. This woman actually smacked me. So I did what most people would do. I screamed for my grandfather. Grandpa, entitled mother's hitting me. While I slam her back, her hip slams into my bed frame and I run into the hallway, slamming the door and holding the door closed.
A marvel of technology, able to drain and digitize any information, capable of holding almost infinite amounts of power. The exobytes are the key to the future. They hold the power I drained from this world. Power stolen from me. I am Brainiac. The exobytes are mine. Soon, all of Earth will be as well.
While she wails like a banshee. Now I'm indecent in front of guests. But also pretty important, they can all see like 6 or 7 really bright red marks on my thighs and butt. My grandfather was never one to curse profusely, but seeing his half-naked granddaughter with obvious marks from an assault standing in the hallway, trying not to have a panic attack, he lost it. He called her so many things, I lost count. A few others came into the room screaming at her as well. I'm crying at that point, not because she hurt me, but because I was humiliated, trying to just get back into my room and hide from the world forever. Little did I know, it got worse. She started yelling, saying my grandparents spoiled me and that I hit her kid first. By this point, her own husband was yelling, "No, she didn't," right in her face. But she didn't care. She took my desk and floored everything, breaking a lot of projects I worked really hard on, and all my supplies spilled everywhere, all into the carpet and everything. She was quickly kicked out of the house. Her son admitted to lying, but he felt really bad for what happened. He was crying, hugging me, saying he was super sorry, and basically being as apologetic as a kid really gets. We never talked to her again after that, except to get the money for my stuff. She refused, but my mom told her she would file charges for attacking a minor since she pulled my pants down in order to hit me. She would lose her kids if we won the case, which she did a year later anyway, and they live with their much better father. So she gave me roughly $500 out of court, and I into a room that literally has a sign on it saying "Do not enter" and assault someone's child. And apparently there was a history of this. Original poster said that this woman got put in her place years ago because of stuff like this. To play devil's advocate, I understand that in that moment she thought that this young girl had hit her kid. But I still feel like maybe we went off the deep end a little too quickly here. Either way, I find this to be a happy ending because at least they never saw this woman again. I feel like that's probably about the best you could ask for in this situation. Some jerk thought it was funny to be indecent on the road repeatedly, so I had to take care of it. Not my story.
I will return to this.
An old trucker who doesn't have Reddit. We got stuck at sea on a rescue boat yesterday and passed the time by sharing stories. So this story is as told by him. I was a fuel trucker. I had a regular daily route in my state and would start just after 4 p.m. So I was refilling the area's gas stations roughly after evening rush. This had me driving late into the night. In this one small town, it seemed like every night around 10, this jerk in a tank top would pass me on the road while pleasuring himself. He always seemed to find me, pull up next to me on the highway, and try to get my attention before zipping off down the road. One week, I saw him 3 nights in a row at the same red light. It was the summer, so he had his roof down each time. Then I got an idea. A wonderful idea. When I got home, I gathered what I needed for my teenage son's room and slept better than I had in weeks. The next night, as I pulled through that small, rural, deep south town, sure enough, Mr. Tank Top pulled up next to me, whacking it and giggling, and as he looked up at me, noticed that my window was down for the first time. Then he saw the paintball gun. My son was avid at the sport, and had saved for a long time to buy this thing and modify it out for team/league stuff. My point is, it could shoot very, very fast, and I lit him up. The inside of his car, him, and his lap were covered in green paint in about 3 seconds. I don't know how long it took him to get in gear and run that red light, but I was empty before he was out of the intersection. Never saw him again. That jerk, dealt with. Kudos to you, good sir, for providing a public service. I'm really glad our original poster decided to share this story with everyone. As completely unpleasant as our antagonist's actions are in this story, our protagonist found a very, very good way of dealing with it, I feel. It seems it has at least stopped him from repeating the actions, which is all anyone wanted. Entitled Kid thinks he has rights, but gets proven wrong. I work for a towing company, handling releases of impounded vehicles. This is the first entitled parents issue I've had, but I'd love to share it. We had a vehicle get impounded with some serious damage due to drunk driving. The owner of the vehicle was not the registered owner. It sat in our yard until about 3 days ago when we got payment and released said vehicle. Entitled Kid showed up on Monday hoping to release said vehicle. Showed up with nothing but $10. What he didn't know is that since it was impounded by the police, he needed to get a release certificate. And since it had been in our yard for a month, the price was definitely more than $10. $10 doesn't even cover the administration fee. Entitled Kid waited patiently in line, waiting for me to finish with the previous customers. So I didn't expect much from him in regards to temperament and attitude. When I was done with the previous customers, he came up and said he was there to get his vehicle. I pulled up the vehicle information I gave him and realized he wasn't the registered owner. And by law, we can't release it to anyone who isn't the registered owner. And I told him so. This is the conversation that follows. It's my car. I'm the only one that drives it, so it's mine. That may be the case, but you're not the registered owner, and we need the registered owner to sign our paperwork. But it's my car. I want it. I can pay for it. Well, judging by the fact you're holding $10 in your hand, you can't in fact pay for it. $10 is more than enough. Give me my car. The current outstanding balance owing on the vehicle is $468. Your $10 does not cover that. Entitled Kid looks at me with a state of confusion on his face and proceeds to leave. I figured that was the end of it. I was so wrong. Not even an hour later, I received a call from Entitled Mother, the actual registered owner of the vehicle. We went through the whole vehicle make, model, color. My son is telling me $10 won't cover the cost. That would be because the current amount owing is $468. How is it that much? It's been here for over a month now. We have storage fees for vehicles impounded for drunk driving and various other things. It wasn't there for a month! And what does drunk driving have to do with any of this? It's been here for over a month. We picked up the vehicle on February 27th. The driver of the vehicle was pulled over after hitting a telephone pole and blew over the legal limit, hence why the vehicle was impounded for drunk driving. How has my son been getting around for a month if the vehicle was there? Huh? Answer me that! I have no idea, seeing as I don't know you or him. I do know that the vehicle has been here for over a month, though, seeing as I processed the paperwork when it came in. You're lying! You're lying! I'll be down there soon! Okay, just so you know, if you'd like the vehicle to be released to you, you need to pick up a release certificate from the SGI issuer. Thanks. Quick. I should add now that we always have a police officer on the property. Many threats have been uttered, and violence is a major thing. Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid show up with some fancy-looking guy, and I get the paperwork ready before they even make it through the door. Turns out, fancy-looking guy is her lawyer. This is my lawyer. He needs to see the paperwork right now. Okay, sounds fair. After what seems like forever was probably only 15 minutes, the lawyer pulls Entitled Mother aside and tries to quietly tell her that there's nothing he can do. You better do something or you're fired! I can't do anything. All the paperwork is here, and maybe I could have done something at the time this all happened, but it's been well over a month now, and my hands are tied. At this point, the cop is closer to the counter, listening in, waiting for any point he has to jump in. Why was the vehicle impounded again? It hit a telephone pole, caused major damage, and drunk driving.
Fuck.
Is that the truth? No, she's lying. I'm only 16. Where would I even drink? Told you, he couldn't have been drinking. Lower your price and give us the car. At this point, our police officer steps in. Hello, miss. I'm just curious as to who will be towing the vehicle home. Entitled Kid will be driving it home. Sorry, no. With the amount of damage done to that car, it's best that it's not driven. And considering Entitled Kid is 16 and was caught drinking and driving, he has no license. Entitled Kid wasn't drinking and driving. He still has his license. Excuse me, Entitled Kid, I see your license. I don't have it on me. It's okay. I'll just find you on my nifty little laptop here. The police officer proceeds to pull up Entitled Kid's file and bam, no license. Has to go through the whole driving course again. Has to pay a fine for drinking and driving and everything. He turns his laptop so Entitled Mother and Lawyer can see it. Entitled Mother, without another word, pays the outstanding balance on the vehicle, pays us extra money to tow it back to her house, and they all leave together. The second that door closed, though, oh boy. Judging by what I could hear through the door and what I saw on the cameras, Entitled Mother was not happy that Entitled Kid made her look stupid, and that Entitled Kid would be paying her back for years over this. Her lawyer said he wouldn't be working for her further and got in his car and left. As they got closer to the vehicle, though, Entitled Mother smacked Entitled Kid on the back of the head, and judging by what happened next, he was left to find his own ride home, seeing as she left without him. Just a family of jerks. I do feel like this happens a lot of the time, though. Some jerk kid comes in with their jerk parents and hasn't been honest with their parents about what the situation really is. As a result, the jerk parent goes off on a rampage that ends up just making them look foolish. And the only one who really suffers the fallout in the end is the jerk kid. It seems like our original poster handled this exactly as they should have. They remained calm, dealt with the situation, provided information to prove what they were saying, and everything was able to move forward as a result. At least in this case, once proven wrong, the Entitled Mother was able to at least recognize it, shut her mouth, did what needed to be done, and got out of there. I'm sure she was completely embarrassed and thus didn't want to say anything else. But sometimes these types of people, when embarrassed, just double down on it, which never ends well. No one in my family likes my nephew, and I told him to his face. This involves me, 25-year-old male, my sister, Diana, 21-year-old female, and her son, Darius, 10-year-old male. I get along with Diana fine. I won't pretend I like Darius. I think he's an entitled brat who's gotten away with crap far too many times. I don't think Diana has ever reprimanded him, and every time the little jerk acts up, Diana makes excuses for him. He's already been suspended from school for stealing. He's a bully to all of his cousins, and I know for a fact that no one in my family likes him at all. Both of my parents can't stand him. My mother, a woman who could find the love in her heart to babysit a honey badger, refuses to watch Darius at all because of his behavior. My father will take all of the grandkids out to fish every few months, except for Darius, because he's too tempted to throw him out into the lake and drive off. His words, not mine. On Monday, I got a call from my sister who panicked because she got called into work. Darius was out of school and her babysitter wasn't available. No one else in the family would watch Darius, so I told her to drop him off and I would watch him. It was a nightmare. Darius was mad he had to spend his day off at my place. He refused to do anything I offered, made a mess in my bathroom, harassed my dog, and had a tantrum because I wouldn't let him use my work computer to play games. By lunchtime, I was frustrated beyond all belief. I made him mac and cheese and he demanded that I take him to Wendy's. He refused to eat and eventually dumped his bowl of food on my floor. At that, I just kinda lost it. I didn't yell or get aggressive at all. I just sighed and asked him if he realized that everyone in the family literally despised him. I explained that he was at my house because Grandma and Grandpa can't stand him, and in fact refused to let him come into their house because he acts like a little jerk. I won't lie, I got pretty brutal. He started crying and locked himself in my bathroom until he came out and sat and watched TV till my sister came and got him. I told her what happened and we got into a massive argument as well. She called me cruel and I told her that she's to blame and he would have learned eventually. My family is split on this. My dad thinks the little jerk deserved it, while my siblings have mixed opinions. My mother's told me she's staying out of this, but if I feel the need to apologize, do it. And move on. What do you guys think? Was I the jerk? Alright, so for this one, I do feel like she said, with the family being split down the middle, that it could kind of go either way. There are some times where a little tough love is needed, and it sounds like this kid had not gotten any at any time, and was just horrible to other people around him in general. He didn't understand how he was making others feel because no one had ever made him feel that way. Maybe now that he's experienced it firsthand, he'll understand how he's making others feel, and hopefully just back off a little bit, or at least just stop being a little hellion. At the same time, it is a kid, and normally you're not supposed to be mean to children, but like I said, tough love. It's for his benefit in the end, right? Like, he can't continue to act like this forever. Someone has to address it. I don't know. I'm with our original poster on this one. I was there. Maybe they did come down a little too hard. Maybe it could have been done in a little bit of a gentler way, but I think it was something that needed to be done.
First, making our own
I moved out of my apartment after my parents forced me to let my brother live there. So my parents paid for this apartment, but they didn't get it specifically for me. When I got into university, my parents purchased an apartment close to campus so that I could live my way without having to deal with other people. I'm not social, and I could best be described as either a misanthropist or a curmudgeonly. It was great for 2 years, and I came out of my shell a little. I met other people like me and discovered that, unlike high school, university isn't hell. I even met Connie. We both work at the campus store. My little brother graduated last year and got into the same school. Rather than stay in dorms, he convinced my parents to let him move in with me. Well, they own it, so I had no say. I lasted 1 semester. Since he had an off-campus residence, my apartment became party central. I asked my parents to make him stop after talking to him didn't work. They said, loosen up. I think they know how to change my personality. I talked to the university and was able to snag a rare single room in the mature student dorm. I don't have a lot of stuff, so when we went home for Christmas, I took what was really important to me. My boyfriend, first one ever by the way, look at me all social now, cleaned out my room and moved my stuff to student housing for me. When we drove back after New Year's, I dropped off my brother and then went to my new place. It isn't perfect, but it's pretty sweet. My parents called me and asked where I was. My brother had let them know that I wasn't in the apartment. I told them where I was and why I was there. They were upset that they spent all that money to help me and I didn't appreciate it. I said I did, until they stuck me with my brother. Without me there, he's having a blast. Good for him. He's also missing a lot of classes, and has been fined for noise complaints by the condo board. But that's not my problem. My parents are asking me to please move back in because my brother's in danger of being put on academic probation. I asked if I was allowed to bar him from having parties and stuff. He was part of the conversation and was upset that I was asking to be put in charge of him. My parents said he was allowed some freedom, and that as his big sister, I should look out for him and not let him fail. I thanked them for the opportunity, but declined. And he recently had a party that the cops had shut down. My parents are considering selling the apartment, but it's kind of a crappy market right now, I guess. I feel bad that they might lose money after doing something so awesome for me, and I feel bad that my idiot brother might have to take time off school to calm down. But I don't think I'm the jerk. They all do, though. I don't think our original poster here is a jerk at all. It seemed like the parents didn't understand the value of that space to them. Having to share it with the brother and not having any say in what's going on in the apartment and random people coming over and things like that, I wouldn't feel comfortable either. Maybe a little bit of a heads up that you were moving out would have been good, but at the end of the day, you're entitled to do what you want. If it's going to make you happy and let you be successful in school, go for it. Do what you need to do. It's not your responsibility to look out for your brother. He's a big boy now, and these are the decisions he's choosing to make. I say you leave that to him. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories, linked at the top of the description. And if you like Am I the Jerk, give Am I the Genius a shot. Linked in the description as well. Either way, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. My entitled sister is claiming that she understands me grieving the loss of my husband because she herself lost her dog. And now she thinks she understands me fully when it comes to how I'm handling the loss of my husband. But after telling her off and saying, no, these are not comparable, she freaks out and write a letter to your boss. Tell him exactly the way he's acting and all of your suspicions about this guy. Hopefully, if anything, they can at least move where you work so you can try.
God damn it.
My entitled mother-in-law freaks out on me and my wife, claiming that we ruined her Mother's Day by not giving her enough attention. Things got so bad that she freaked out in the middle of a restaurant and stormed off after making a massive scene. Here's what happened. So my mother-in-law gets an annoying person to say her. She has extremely low self-worth, and she compensates that by forcing the world to go around her. As family who interact with her regularly, we are forced to treat her like a queen.
It's almost ready.
Those bumbling techs better not have scratched a hair on your little head. Now, to put the finishing touches on my masterpiece. I am Tornado Tyrant. Destroy!
As well. This also included a lunch and popular and famous team restaurant. By the way, had she not planned it herself, there will be a snarky comment at the end of the day saying something like, "Seems you don't care about your mom enough to plan something for me.
Oh, fuck.
I was waiting the whole day for you to do something." So anyways, morning went uneventful as we had been pampering the grown-up toddler, and my mother-in-law was quite happy about it. We go to the restaurant and we set up the table as my wife is bringing others in. My 2-year-old decides to throw a temper tantrum for, toddler reasons, but then my mother-in-law sees this beautiful garden in front of the restaurant and wants my wife to take a picture of her. My mother-in-law doesn't care about anything and forces my wife to take several pictures as my wife is holding a crying, fussing, and kicking toddler under him. Having basked in the glory of being in the center of attention, my mother-in-law is satisfied enough and they all come into the restaurant. My wife is really upset from the events, but she's trying her best to be cheerful. The waiter comes in to take the order, and right then, my mother-in-law decides to go to the restroom. My wife asks her to order before she goes, as the kids will get hungry if we wait for a long while. Now, this proved to be a big mistake for my wife, because she asked this in a normal, regular conversational tone, instead of a pleading or a pleasing pampering tone. I mean, how dare we order her royalty on what to do? That was apparently strike one. As me and my wife are looking at the myriad of choices and trying to order for the kids, ourselves, and everything else along with it, we got absorbed into ordering without paying attention to the most important person in the room. My mother-in-law wasn't the center of attention for 2 full minutes. I mean, how dare we? That apparently was strike two. We didn't notice that and asked her what she wants. She asked if they had a specific ethnic dish, which is a regular staple that we have almost every single day at home. What she was asking for would be like ordering a grilled cheese sandwich, and that too in an indifferent, meek tone. She was indirectly implying that she was just some kind of nobody, so she is ordering some peasant food. Now apparently that was our cue to realize our mistake, drop to the ground, beg her forgiveness, and bring the world back into alignment before things start to go downhill. We failed to notice the change in her tone, which is apparently strike-free for everybody across the board. Instead, my wife suggests and says the following: "Mom, we have that almost every day at home." Now, as my wife is talking, my mother-in-law cuts her off and starts to say, "I know that. Are you saying I don't know that?" And at that point, she storms off to the restroom. We are all figuring out what in the world just happened, so we just finish ordering our food. The mother-in-law comes back and unloads onto my wife about how she has disrespected her. We brought her to this country, and ever since then, my wife has made it her mission to apparently do nothing but humiliate her. And at this point, her mom starts to cry. I quickly realize what had conspired, but my innocent wife, whose heart is only filled with love and not such evil games, doesn't realize the drama that my mother-in-law wants to cause. Instead, she is trying to understand how suggesting that the dish is a regular staple at home is somehow humiliating to her mom. But her mom goes on to say, "You're implying that I'm dumb and you're ruining Mother's Day. All daughters do special things on Mother's Day, and here you are ruining mine." And those are just a few of the things that she screamed at my wife. My wife tries to backpedal in some kind of way, but my mother-in-law is adamant that my wife humiliated her by implying that she's dumb for not knowing a staple food in our country. She then storms off to sit outside. It was extremely bizarre to see a 60-year-old woman throw a temper tantrum and accuse her daughter of trying to humiliate her. Now, normally we would run after her. We would apologize and beg her to come back in. We would keep apologizing throughout lunch, but this time we were so over this garbage, especially after dealing with this so many times before. My wife does all this planning, wanted to be a good daughter, wanted her mom to feel special, and in the end, has ruined Mother's Day by talking to her mom as if her mom was not royalty. So a 60-year-old woman started crying in the middle of a lunch rush in a popular restaurant, all because we didn't give her attention attention for 5 minutes, all while we were busy ordering food for her kids. And we are just left scratching our head over this, not sure what to make of any of it. The mother-in-law in this story seriously sounds disturbed. I can only imagine what it would be like to try and grow up in that household. Like, can you even imagine how obnoxious she must have been? Like, every day, all day has to be about her. Like, she needs to be the center of attention all the time. And that's insane to me. Not to mention all the work that the original poster's wife put into this event. I mean, this mother-in-law is so entitled, and her actions are seriously so uncalled for. So hopefully in the future, you're able to avoid this lady altogether. Because the way she's acting is unbelievably obnoxious, and there's no reason to demand that you are the center of attention all the time. If you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Animal Genius. Check it out, link down below in the description. Am I the jerk for refusing to pay for my boyfriend's food after he ruined my food photos? So I have an Instagram account dedicated to photos and short videos of food from local restaurants, and these are all places in my local city. I don't turn meals into a whole photo shoot production when I go out, but I like to snap a few photos every day as it comes out. I've got about 1,000 followers. It's just a hobby for me, but I have made friends with some other vloggers, and we like to go out and get pictures together and try new restaurants. I prefer doing this with my foodie girls because my boyfriend absolutely hates it and will go out of his way to take a big bite of food or mess up his plate with his fork before I can snap a picture, and he rolls his eyes when I take pictures of my food, so I pretty much stopped bothering when we went out together. Money has been tight lately because of some medical bills, so I haven't been able to go out with my foodie girls, and the infrequent dates with my boyfriend is the only chance I get to eat out. I had to sit him down and have a talk, basically asking him to just let me enjoy things, and I told him I was going to take pictures of my own food when we went out, while also
God damn it.
not be immature about it. And since we alternate between who pays for the date and who just appreciate it if you could spare the 30 seconds for me to snap a picture of the appetizer as well as his meal on nights while I pay, and I got a sort of half-hearted do whatever you want confirmation. Sunday was my turn to pay, and he let me take a picture of the appetizer with minimal fussing. But then, when the entrees came out, I went to snap a picture of his, and he messed it up with a fork. Then he reached over and stirred my pasta to also ruin the photo of my own meal. I was so upset about that I refused to pay for his half of the food at the end of the meal, which really upset him because he said he wouldn't have offered a cocktail if he knew I was going to skip my turn. He says I owe him one because I don't get to decide not to pay according to our agreement after we've already ordered. This is all unbelievably frustrating, and I seriously don't know what to do. First off, you're not a jerk for not wanting to pay for your boyfriend. He is acting incredibly toxic and very dismissive towards your hobbies. Like, seriously, all he had to do was just sit there and let you take pictures. This is something you're interested in. This is your hobby.
If it's
Like,
not
seriously,
basic
just let
inside,
people enjoy
I don't
things. Let
trust
people have fun with their silly little hobbies, even if you don't understand it. This guy very easily could have sat back, been on his phone, stepped away and used the bathroom while you took literally 30 seconds to take pictures, if not shorter. And it's not even the fact that he messed up his own food. He also messed up your food. And I'm sure that these places you're going to are probably a little bit expensive. Like, to get food that looks well presented and isn't just run-of-the-mill stuff, it probably costs a pretty penny. I can completely understand your anger and your frustration towards your boyfriend. So you know what? You're not the jerk. If I was in your shoes, there's no way I would pay for the meal. I personally feel very justified in my anger. Because he ruined the one thing you wanted to do that night, besides, I don't know, try to spend time with your boyfriend, who, by the way, is not very supportive of you or your endeavors. So hopefully you can see the jerk that this guy absolutely is, because his behavior is incredibly immature, and you deserve so much better than this treatment. Am I the jerk for refusing to listen to my mother-in-law's speech on my wedding? So to start things out, I hate speeches. I never understood the appeal, and I think they are boring, exhausting, and very, very forced. But having said that, this is just my opinion, and I never forced it on anyone. I have sat through long, exhausting speeches without complaining like any other decent human being. When it was my turn to get married, however, I requested that no speeches. We wrote that we loved everyone and that we knew they loved us. So if you want to say anything to us directly, say it in private. My husband thought it was funny, but he knew my feelings about speeches. We had a small wedding with only loved ones, and it was all weekend long. My husband loves games, so the wedding planner did a really great Taskmaster type of games, and everyone really appreciated it. Dinner came, and my mother-in-law stood up and tried to start making a speech. She said, "I know we are forbidden to make speeches by the bride, but this is my only son getting married, so I will do what I want to." Honestly, when she started doing this, I didn't hear the rest of it, because I was seeing red. My sisters and bridesmaids were shocked. I pretended like she wasn't talking and continued my conversation with my girls, and they did the same. My mother-in-law was furious. Both sister-in-laws were furious, and my husband was very angry, and it showed in his profile. He refused to look at me. The rest of the night was incredibly awkward. My husband's side was sulking in their seats. I wanted to make sure it wasn't ruined for the rest of us, and we ended up having a blast. The next day, I spent it with my family and my friends. My husband said that I was very wrong in what I did. I couldn't force my mother-in-law to shut up, and he knew that she wouldn't no matter how much we told her. Apparently, I shouldn't have disrespected and humiliated her like this, and it really seems like our marriage has started off on the wrong foot. So am I the jerk for refusing to listen to this stupid speech? Honestly, I don't think you're the jerk in this situation. You made your wishes very clear for this wedding. You didn't want anybody giving any speeches. This is very clear cut, and it sounds like this was a very selective group of people who were coming to the wedding. They all knew the rules. They knew what was expected of them there at the wedding, and they knew what they should and should not do. And giving a speech was on the do not do list. It doesn't matter if this is her only child or her 17th child. She broke the rules, so she has to deal with the consequences. And seriously, this is really unfortunate of your husband, because I seriously think he's in the wrong. He's picking his mother and her dignity over you, and that is not okay. He needs to fix that. And you're also under no obligation at your wedding to listen to your mother-in-law and her stupid speech. So seriously, in my opinion, you are not the jerk. You didn't do anything wrong, and if anything, your husband and your mother-in-law are absolutely the jerks in this situation. Am I the jerk for telling one of my good friends that I wouldn't be attending his wedding simply because my wife wasn't invited? So my best friend from college and I are both having weddings this year. His is in June and mine is in November. Mine is really more of just a party because I married my wife at the courthouse about a year ago because we didn't want to wait until we could afford the party to commit to one another. He invited me to his wedding, but not my wife. I waited until his deadline for RSVPs and then told him I wouldn't attend because my wife and I go to events together, or we don't go at all because she is the woman behind me just as much as I am the man behind her, and we are effectively a unit. And I know, I shouldn't have waited, but I wanted to try and push off an uncomfortable conversation. Well, needless to say, he blew up on me and accused me of always choosing others over him and not being a decent friend or caring about him at all. He said that he didn't invite my wife because there physically wasn't enough space at the venue and that I wasn't the only one affected by this. He went on to essentially say that I need to not be codependent and that he wasn't asking me to go on a 6-month deployment for my family, but that I needed to be there for him to be a good friend. I eventually caved because he made me feel bad, and I said that I'd go without my wife, while also making that decision after talking about it with my wife. But my thought now is that if you plan a wedding at a physically small space, it's okay to invite just me, but by the same token, don't be upset when I decline, because it's the type of deal where you made your bed and now you have to lie in it. It's also worth noting that I had a similar constraint on my wedding, but cut 2 family members just to allow people to have their family with them. Now, for some further context, I am a government controls engineer working on a very expensive, very time-consuming project currently. I'm not at the top of the chain, but I've been able to advance my career very quickly, so I am in a position of responsibility. I missed his bachelor party because I needed to travel for a work meeting. Now, my friend is very much still the Chad, let's get drunk type, and I'm just not like that anymore. I have a wife, I have 2 small children, who are the absolute most important thing to me. I don't respond to his texts nearly as often or as quickly, and I don't endlessly play video games with our old group like I used to, so I think it's fair for him to feel he's not as important, because while I love him, he also just isn't compared to my career, but most of all my family. Now, my wife and I are not attached to him. To clarify, weddings, funerals, graduations, work dinners, we all go together. If it's a boys' night out or a girls' night out, we have no problem being apart. So this honestly begs the question, am I the jerk for turning down going to this wedding, all because my wife wasn't invited? First off, I can't believe you were guilt-tripped into going to that wedding. Seriously, your friend is an awful friend. The fact that he wasn't accommodating towards your wife really is honestly ridiculous. Like, he could have been like, oh, don't worry, just bring your wife with you. You're probably one of the few people, if not the only person who complained about this. So I really don't know why he decided to freak out and guilt-trip you into going to this wedding. And this guy is very clearly not your friend. He's being an absolute jerk, and he seriously needs to check himself. Now, when it comes to the wedding itself, the original poster actually has an update for us. He goes on to say that he's not going to the wedding, and this friend is not going to his. And also, the friendship they have has been terminated. And apparently, this is not the first instance where some kind of tension has been brought up. And honestly, with all things considered, and for the way this guy is acting, all I have to say is good riddance. This is not someone that I would personally want in my life, and I seriously don't blame you for deciding to not go to his wedding, because he is showing some true colors. Regardless of if you reserved your spot on time or not, his behavior is atrocious, and you seriously do not need that in your life. An entitled Karen makes fun of my weight after I was just trying to joke and have a good time at work, but I had a great comeback and I ended up putting her right in her place. Here's what happened. So I've been working at a department store in my hometown for 10 months, and in working, I've encountered so many entitled people. Men demanding that their children play on the merchandise stands that break incredibly easily, and some entitled Karens demanding free gift cards. This time around, when I was covering an evening shift for one of my coworkers, a Karen oozing with entitlement from her pores came to my register and asked about the benefits. Since laws were passed, my home didn't ban plastic bags, and instead signed bags for nearly $2. That seems ridiculous to me, because I've seen so many bags ripped so easily, and that's another story for another day. This entitled Karen says she doesn't have time for talking, which I mean, I totally get that. Some people really need to buy stuff and then get out. When she asked about our bag policy and how much we sell them for, I was in a cheery mood, and I said to her, usually my store sells them for about $2, but if you're really nice to me, you can get them for free. The woman just gawked at me, and steam came out of her ears in anger. I asked her if there was a problem, and she started screeching. Well, that's not nice of you. You force people to be nice to you in exchange for a free bag. Are you serious, you fat cow? For the record, I'm not a cow. I'm a short girl with some curves. I wasn't going to tolerate any more mean people because I had dealt with enough of them recently. I knew I was risking my job and being mean right back to the entitled woman. So I said to her, ma'am, I'm not a fat cow. I prefer to be called a plus-size pixie. However, I will let this slide because I want you out of my store as soon as possible. No free bags for you then. Have a nice day. Now, I've been in customer service since my teenage years, so I've become speedy at helping customers with purchases, and I charged the woman for the bags before she left with a dagger-shooting glare. together. The customers in line behind her clapped for me as the woman walked away. Seriously, why do so many people forget their manners? Did quarantine over COVID-19 make everyone forget to be kind and polite? Does it hurt a person to be nice and give a smile? If someone can make sense of this, I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that entitled Karen was being really rude. Like, seriously, you were just trying to lighten the mood. You were obviously just joking with customers, and honestly, that's kind of a catch-22 situation. Sometimes it will go well depending on who it is, but most times in my experience, it's not going to go well, and the person is probably going to be a really big weirdo about it. I know when I worked in customer service, that's all I ran into. You would have to gamble on whether or not you had to be neutral and very distant from the customer, or it was someone that you could actually joke around with and have a good time. And I'm absolutely with the original poster on this one. They were literally just trying to be nice and smile to this entitled Karen. They were trying to brighten the day and clearly make a joke. Like, I really think anybody who has a brain can see that the original poster was joking. I don't think she was being completely serious by saying, oh, if you're nice to me, you'll get a free bag. So it's really weird for this entitled Karen to freak out and be like, oh my god, I gotta be nice to you to get a free bag? You're a fat cow. Like, come on, that is so uncalled for. So honestly, don't stop being you, because that customer was just a stick in the mud, and it sounds like you're trying to make the best out of working in retail. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, use the playlist at the top of the description. And if you like Am I the Jerk, you're probably going to love Am I the Genius. Check it out in the description below and subscribe.
I have been hit. A racist Karen thinks that she can order a Marine around, threatens the Marine, and then throws a glass at the Marine. This does not go over well and backfires brutally. Here's what happened. Subscribe to Am I the Jerk on YouTube and hit the bell to turn on notifications. I was working Toys for Tots in the DC area, which is a program that Marine Corps runs every year to gather toys and gifts and distribute them to kids whose Christmas tree will likely disappoint Charlie Brown. Sexist or not, they seem to pick those of us who have the Marine look in the casting sense, tall/masculine, or on the lady side, that particular blend of I'll kick your butt with one hand while doing my eyeliner with the other hand. It's as much marketing as anything, especially in the DMV. Point being, we're a bunch of tall, very fit ukes out there in dress blues, smiling and coaxing toys out of people who could have probably saved Toys R Us with petty stock earnings. We look nothing like waitstaff. I myself am 6'1", 210 pounds, and another SNCO who's 5'4", probably 135 pounds, were assigned to an event at the Smithsonian. Somehow, the Corps had managed to get a display in a few donation bins, put up at a black tie invitation-only shindig surrounding the display with a hook on it, and a bunch of other large hunks of carbon. Personally, I don't understand the obsession with it. It's a large, shiny rock. No one is wearing it. It serves no scientific purpose. It just sits there, so you can look at it. Or something. I feel more satisfaction looking at an exceptionally big turd the night after Taco Tuesday. At least I made it myself, often with significant effort and no small amount of regret/self-loathing to provide fuel for the push. Anyway, we're smiling our pearly whites while the various movers and doers shake our hands, toys on display, posing for the cameras so their constituents/stockholders, etc. can see how kind-hearted they are. The sick thing is how many don't even donate. They just get a photo in front of the pile of toys, sans the generosity. Pretty much par for the course. The initial wave of donations passes as the event gets down to business. Drinks are passed out and they start in with the hors d'oeuvres, and we're standing there surreptitiously munching and trying not to get those godforsaken white gloves dirty. When this lady, who's best described as a chubby, mixed-race female Steve Buscemi, comes toddling up in a dress waistcoat thing that looked like it was screaming for mercy from the Bud Fairy. Fat Steve Buscemi Karen said,
"Oh you two, I'm dry here. Let's get snappy with a refill."
Something like that. We didn't realize she was talking to us, so I only paid half attention. Fat Steve Buscemi Karen, after a second of us not responding, said,
"I know you hear me. Get your butts in gear. Loading time is over."
At this point, we realized she meant us. I look over at Pocket, my fellow Marine's nickname, we call her P. She looks at me, and we look at the lady. It took a second, okay? So finally I speak and say, "Can I help you, ma'am?"
Well, it's about time. I need a refill, and while you're at it, give me some of those little munchy things. They stopped bringing them out a few minutes ago. You guys should quit.
Pocket cut her off to say, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we don't work here. We're just here with the toys for..."
I don't give a damn about what you think. Get your butt to by someone like you!
Fat Steve Buscemi Karen proceeds to toss her empty-ish glass at Pocket, who gets some leftover drips on her blues, but catches it out of reflex. I can see the thunderclouds gathering. A stain like that likely means she's looking at a new blues coat, which runs a few $100s. Probably a new ribbon setup, too. Pocket is Puerto Rican and has the temper to match, so I tried to head the lady off. Ma'am, we're not waitstaff, we're just... Fat Steve Buscemi Karen interrupts and says,
Do you know who my husband is?
Fat Steve Buscemi Karen proceeded to put her finger right under my nose and continue to tirade. Apparently, hubby was a Southern Senator's main booster/campaign funder, so said Google, and would see to it that I, quote, be sleeping under newspaper. After about 10 seconds of this, we're starting to draw stares and some of the staff were starting to head our way. However much I wanted to put this bee in a compliant hold, I could pretty well visualize the CNN article if a male Marine laid hands on a woman in front of all those people, especially a politically connected one. I was sort of at a loss. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to make that choice. Pocket made it for me.
Ma'am, you need to calm down. Please take your glass and...
She held out Fat Steve Buscemi Karen's glass to her as she said this. Fat Steve Buscemi Karen switches her wrath from me to Pocket and slaps the glass out of Pocket's hand. I could see Pocket's control wavering, but there wasn't anything for it. Fat Steve Buscemi Karen bored right in. The critical mistake was to start jabbing Pocket with her finger right in the chest of each word she said.
You shut your...
Insert racist word here. I cringed visibly at that second last word because, yeah, I knew exactly what was about to happen, and it did. It's called the Udigatame in Judo, basically a standing arm lock, and Pocket was a two-tab black belt. Pocket snatched her arm up, locked her out, and slammed her face straight into the wall next to us. Blood, broken nose, drywall dust, the whole bit. Just that grim teeth smile that says, I'm gonna mess you up so hard that your grandkids will be born with my handprint on their soul. It was awesome. And a little hot, to be honest. I, being both a senior Marine and somewhat cooler of temperament, carefully pulled Pete back. I dare say it was akin to handling a small but very dangerous animal. Fat Steve Buscemi Karen kind of slides to the floor, actually much quieter now that she's trying to aspirate a mixture of blood and gypsum. Security finally showed up to help, which resulted in them hauling Fat Steve Buscemi Karen away and taking us to a separate room where we gave our version of things. Security recordings were reviewed, of which there were many, what with the fancy rocks everywhere and so on. Pocket wanted to press assault charges, but oddly enough, no DC police became involved. I'm assuming that politics were at play there. I called the head shed to let them know what happened. They sent a van to pick us/the toys up. Funny enough, it never seemed to make it to the news. I think that's, more than anything, saved Pocket's butt. Upon coming back to the main event area to load the toys and take down the display, we were given a wide berth by many of the upper crusties. I feel compelled to mention the notable exception. This one old lady who came up and asked if she could give Pocket a hug and all things. Just kind of gave her that grandma-style hug, patted her on the back, and took her hands and said,
You know, in my younger years, I would have stomped that whale flat. Wonderfully done, dear.
And then she wandered off to rejoin the party. It was adorable. So, how should we have handled the situation? Were we the jerks for taking it too far? I can't believe this lady threw a glass at Pocket. I mean, that could have easily shattered and gone in someone's eye, or just cut someone. And maybe because of the power that this lady is in, because of who her husband is and where she usually is at, she's just so used to seeing everyone else there as just wait staff that she can treat like trash and order around, to the point that she doesn't even realize that these are Marines. I figured both the Marines here could very easily defend themselves against this Karen, but the fact that Pocket is a black belt in judo makes this even more wild. The top response to this was, surprise, Pocket's in.
We've got an intruder.
No! You want to take her from me!
I need some backup! I need some backup!
I won't let you stop her! I won't let you hurt her!
Cover me! I need some backup.
Ivy and I will always be together. Anything for you, Poison Ivy. I'll kill them for you, Ivy. That scent! So beautiful! Take
surrender yet?
Ivy is mine. I can't say no. She's a goddess, a plant goddess.
Oh no, am I cornered? Please come in. I've been cultivating a surprise. Doctor's orders. Oh! Nasty human.
Vessel attack powered up.
Inferior flesh be. Poor things. I hope you don't have allergies. Earth for the plants. That's gonna leave a mark. The plants will punish you. I bruise easily.
I don't need an
Nasty
attack rotation
human.
to beat you.
Oh. I bruise easily. The plants will punish you. That's gonna leave a mark. Inferior flesh being. Inferior flesh being. Oh! Gotham is mine. Nasty human. Take your mentor and flee. Our roots go deep into this asylum, and something terrible is growing strong. Leave now, before it claims you as well.
That leaves one to go. No sign of Dr. Arkham. I did find the director of maximum security cowering in a closet. He insists that the asylum is alive and let all the prisoners out. Arkham's ghosts don't typically have access to coded prison locks. I'll keep searching, That man out.
In our sessions, Mr. Freeze was...
I'm at the maximum security lockup. No sign of forced entry. Someone deliberately retrieved all of the prisoner's equipment. Everything points to a bigger conspiracy, and still no sign of Dr. Arkham. It's like he's disappeared into the walls. Interesting.
Gonna put you on ice. Hope the bat shows up. We better deal with you fast. The boss has plans. You'll pay for that. Ah! What the? Chill. I'm burning up. Freeze, sucker. Freeze, sucker.
Free? I don't feel free. Just freezing.
What the? Gonna put you on ice. Ah. Hey, you! Ah!
Thanks. I can make it out okay. When they told me it was bad here, I didn't believe them.
Chill. Oh. You'll pay for that. Freeze! What the?
Gonna knock you out cold.
Run for your lives! Please, you've got to help.
Gonna knock you out cold.
Hey, you! I'm burning up. I'm burning up.
Why didn't I get gear?
Oh! You'll pay for that! Ah! Chill! Chill!
All systems are go.
You'll pay for that! Oh! I'm burning up! You'll pay for that! Chill! Oh! Ah! Hey, you're not the one we're looking
Thanks.
for.
I think I can get back to the lobby okay.
I'm burning up. I'm burning up.
Oh, it's on.
You're not our main targets, but you'll do.
I'm literally built for
Man,
fighting.
this place really is crazy.
Oh.
I would have been trapped in here forever if not for you.
You'll pay for that.
This boiler room pipes heat to the entire asylum. It's a simple matter to bring the next ice age instead. Watch the suit.
Ah! Chill!
Nora, I will not fail you.
You'll pay for that!
Let's cool this place down.
I will not fail you. You can't kill me. Oof. Watch the suit.
I just uploaded new attack parameters.
You can't kill me. Oof. Watch the suit. You look cold. Nora, I will not fail you. You can't kill me. Oof. Nora, I will not fail you. Hothead. Nora, I will not fail you. You can't kill me. Watch the suit.
I think this one is tight cap hold.
Enough. I must find the others. There are bigger plans in motion.
This is Batman. I know who the ghost is at Arkham. Now we need to find a way to stop it. I'm with Robin in the lobby. Come.
I don't know why any of us work here. The place is
It was an ambush. All three of them. And they're even crazier than usual. They must be using hidden passages even Batman doesn't know about. Now they've got Batman. Ivy's pollen. I need time to recover. It's up to you.
I'm burning up! Oh! No! Ah! Ah! Oh! Huh? Ah! Ah!
Neil pas de deux.
Your responses are very interesting. It's useless to fight.
Watch the suit. Nora, I will not fail you. You can't kill me.
Blast it, amateur!
Watch the suit.
Ah! It's useless. I'm out of fear gas. Return to the fight. Finish them now!
Nora, I will not fail you. Nora, I will not fail you.
I love a good fight.
Watch the suit.
Ah!
You can't kill me. Watch the suit. Nora, I will not fail you. You can't kill me. I must return to the cold.
You can't destroy me. I'm like a weed.
My Nora. The doctor promised, and I have failed.
Good timing. Between the three of them, that was a close call. Dr. Arkham.